My name is Francois and I'm from Hybrid Power Solutions. And today we're going to be going over a bunch of the different battery terms that you might hear out there. And we're going to be talking about what they are, giving you a crash course on that so you know what questions to ask and what products to get. So let's jump right into it. So types of batteries, I'm sure you've heard a bunch of them. And there's really two main commercial categories. There's your lead acid and there's your lithium. Now remember, a sub to that, there's a bunch of different types. So you may have SLAs, gels, flooded on the lead acid side, and on the lithium titanate, LifePo like we have here, NMC, there's a bunch of different types. And each one is gonna have its own unique advantages and disadvantages that are gonna be right for you. So check those out. On the next term you're gonna really hear a lot of is cell, module, packs. Those are the three big battery terms that you're gonna hear, and what's the difference? Well, let's go over those real quick. So here you got a cell. So this is kind of your building block. This is one style or shape. They come in different shapes and sizes, but this is your building block for a full system. Once you've got those assembled into something that is a little bit larger, you're gonna have something like a module that you see here. So this bunch of these could go into here and make yourself a module. Now the final size, or the one size up, is called a pack. It's something calls them a system. It's a lot of different terms for them, but we call them a pack. And that would be your entire system. So for example, if you had an off-grid house, that would be all your batteries would form up one giant system. So those are the three terms you need to know. Now, on the capacity side, so the main term that you're going to want to know is called kilowatt hours. So this is a rating for energy. And you may have heard amp hours and voltages as well, but really you want to make sure that you're calculating everything in kilowatt hours. That's going to allow you to compare apples to apples. And it's really simple. If somebody gives you an amp hour, you're going to be able to calculate the kilowatt hour by multiplying the voltage times the amp hours. And so for example, if you have a 10 volt battery and you have 100 amp hour and 100 amp hours in that battery, you're going to just do 100 times 10. So you're going to have a 1000 watt hour battery or a 1 kilowatt hour battery. And that'll allow you to compare with other batteries out there. Really nice and simple, even if they have different amp hours and voltages. Now remember, lead acid battery and lithium batteries have different usable capacity of the battery. So keep that in mind. Moving on, we're going to talk a little bit about power and amperage. These are another term that you've probably heard before. Now, if kilowatt hours is our energy, and you can compare that to, say, a fuel tank in a car, it's going to allow you to go further the bigger the fuel tank is. Your power is going to be your engine size. So how many horsepower do you have in your car? And that power is usually measured in either watts or kilowatts, which is watts and kilowatts, so 1,000 times. 1,000 watts is equal to 1 kilowatt. And really, you want to be doing a gut check when you're getting yourself a system that you have enough power to power your devices. So if you've got a 6,000 watt stove, you want to make sure you've got more than 6,000 watts of power in your system to get that thing fired up. So one other thing that people might tell you is, well, hey, look, I have the amperage. Okay, well, that's great, and you can actually convert your amperage into power if you have your voltage. All right, keeping it really simple, so this is for a DC system, the math is really, really simple. All you have to do is take your voltage and multiply it by your amperage. That gets you your power. Really, really nice and simple. Another thing you're gonna hear a lot of is cycles. So battery cycles. How many am I getting? Or what should I be getting? All that kind of terms. And a cycle is defined as one full discharge and one full charge up. That defined as one cycle. So that's not two. If you charge and discharge, that's not two, it's one complete cycle, okay? And that's from 0 to 100%. That's the ideal cycle. So if somebody tells you I have a battery that's gonna give you 1,000 cycle, it's gonna be able to charge and discharge at 1,000 times, okay? Now remember, there's some little details to look into that. What are they rating it for? Is it at 25 degrees Celsius? Is it a specific temperature? Is it to 80% depth of discharge? You're gonna wanna look into that as well, but remember that a cycle is a full charge and a full discharge. Moving on from that, we have temperature ratings, okay? It's really key to take a look at the temperature ratings, because if you're gonna be using these in below freezing temperatures, you wanna make sure that your batteries are gonna be able to handle that cold. All right, and the heat as well. So make sure you look at those temperature ratings. Now, most lithium batteries are not going to want to charge below 0 degrees Celsius. So We do have at HPS, we do have our line of products that is rated for charging below 0 degrees Celsius because it has a built-in heating system. But for most lithiums and for some lead acids, you're going to want to make sure that the temperature you're using at is the right temperature for those batteries. Double check those. Now, another thing is self-discharge. You've probably heard of this term as well. Self-discharge is the natural chemical loss of a battery. So what does that mean? So say I've got a battery that's fully charged, it's at 100%. Well, guess what? Every month, just sitting there, even completely off, it's going to slowly discharge itself down. Some batteries are 3-4% a month. Some batteries can be 10 to 15% a month. So take that into account, especially for those who have a 3-season cottage or home that they may not be attending for months on end. You want to make sure that those batteries are still going to be alive when you get back. So keep that in mind. The last thing I want to talk about is a low voltage state. And that really ties into that self-discharge. Now, for example, we have clients who maybe they fully discharged their power packs, their battery pack, whatever it may be. And you know what? They forgot to charge up. Well, be careful on that, because with that self-discharge, if you've got 0% left in that battery, and then you attack on that self-discharge, you can go into really dangerous conditions where you've got a low voltage state. And that's when people are talking about low voltage state, that means that battery has gone below its safe voltage threshold. And you want to correct that as soon as possible, or else you got yourself a big useless brick. I'm Francois, and thank you very much for listening. Make sure to like and subscribe. Check out the description below for all our contact information. If you've got any more questions on this, or if you want to check out our products, it's all there. Thank you very much.